really trying to understand what needs to be done more. And allow me to introduce our esteemed guests this particular evening. First off, on my left, Victoria Karuga. She is the president for Federation of Women Entrepreneurs of Kenya. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. And
to the far end, Purity Kimotho. She is an entrepreneur. She's a business trainer, among others. And I know even for you, Vicky, among other hats, which I'll definitely allow both of you to tell us who you are. Interestingly, ni kama memo ya kuvaa black ndio mlipata. I'll start off with you, Karuga. Away from matters FOWEK, tell us your journey into business and this particular male-dominated field over the years.
Okay, I think somehow you always know you're going to be an entrepreneur for some reason. There's always a push towards that direction. So I graduated from architectural school. I worked for 4 years, but I knew at the back of my mind it was to help me through entrepreneurship. So started that journey, realized that I wanted to grow bigger business, and I moved to the space of people development. Started a company called Profiles International, and now we work with people. We grow, we manage talent, and we assess people. We do all things talent. But as a woman in business, and why I joined the Federation of Women Entrepreneurs in Kenya is because there are certain things that are peculiar to women and entrepreneurs in general, but I think some of them are to women. So joined FOWEK as a movement to see on some of these issues around advocacy and policy. Is there something that perhaps if we bring our voices together, we could raise them to the public and then get to talk about them.
Right.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey, can't complain. I think, and fulfilling. Yeah.
Right. Before I talk to Kimotho, kindly tell us what FOWEK does in a nutshell, because I know we'll definitely be chiming into, you talk about matters policy and advocacy. I know we'll be chiming into as we continue, but then in a nutshell, what does FOWEK do?
So it stands for the Federation of Women Entrepreneurs in Kenya, and it is also the Kenyan chapter for the COMESA Women in Business.
Okay.
So COMESA have a faction of theirs that speaks to women in business, and this is because the COMESA mandate in general cannot really be fulfilled if we don't tackle some of the issues affecting the interregional trade between the COMESA states. So it was formed to basically tackle issues around how do we empower women to be able to do trade with each other in the 21 COMESA countries. So in each country, what we try to do is educate women, capacity building for women, not only just in terms of matters business, but also in terms of matters cross-border trade, because some of the markets, our women are very entrepreneurial. They'll take a bus and go to Uganda and do business. So you're trying to really equip them with knowledge and awareness. We're trying to provide channels of access to affordable capital, because our affordable, grants or loans and things like that, speak to those. The big one is networking. One of the things that plagues every business person, not just women, is the lack of information and the lack of access to networks. So we try and provide those opportunities, give women access to networks within the COMESA region and further. And then we run projects. Like one project we've run is the incubation of business women to take them through how they can, value engineer some of the products that they offer, take them through having them registered with the KEBS, the standards body, and have their products in the supermarkets, and that has been quite successful, I must say.
Right.
Yeah.
Kimotho, the same for you, this particular journey that you have had. Walk us through how it has been, and why an entrepreneur? And I'm asking that because we'll be taking a look at a certain report that was released by MasterCard, actually released today, that focuses on Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa, which says 51% of women consider themselves as entrepreneurs. So now to you, why do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for me, I think some people say entrepreneurs are born, others are made. I was not born an entrepreneur. I was a proper corporate girl. until necessity pushed me out.
Okay.
And that is 14 years ago. I worked in corporate and in telecommunication and other industries. And
right.
Then
Just a minute. I'm informed that we have to correct your mic in a few. But then, so back to you. This particular report, so even as we now chime into this report, as I say, focusing on Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and you realize some interesting patterns in these three areas. For first off, matters 51% of women considering themselves as entrepreneurs. Goes on to break down that 55% of millennials and 57% of Gen Zs are now most likely to identify as entrepreneurs. And I'll start off with that, because now these are two particular age groups where we definitely see the gig economy, them embracing the gig economy. You know, the bloggers, you know, a certain dynamic shift of not the kawaida, you know, I have to set up a shop and I have to be here 24/7. You know, it's a different, you know, kind of system for them. Walk us through what they tell you, because I know you definitely engage with them a lot. The millennials as well as the Gen Z, you know, young ladies out here. What do they tell you? What are their thoughts about businesses and entrepreneurship?
First, it's been made easier by the digital economy. It's so much easier to set up shop, sell there. Some of them have never even had to meet some of their clients. You know, you have a beautiful shop which is in your house, but online looks like it's really big. You send your wares wherever, and they're making considerable tons of money. What they tell me, of course, is some of the times they want to scale, and they don't know how. Secondly, they also get into trouble sometimes because they are not aware. One of the things that I think we don't pay attention to is the money. And by this, I mean the numbers themselves. So KRA, you know, is going to catch up with you at some point, but you're just bringing in revenue. And then all of a sudden, here comes this guy, and you've not been paying attention. And that is not because they don't want to do the right thing. It's a lack of awareness, So they struggle with that. And by the time, I think even for me as an entrepreneur, I was discovering that the relationship with the Revenue Authority is actually a good one if you understand it. But that took time, leaning into those conversations and really seeing that actually, I always say the Kenya Revenue Authority has really changed from what it was. And those are some of the things I think the young people grapple with. Market access as well. And but I think the time has left us where only the big players would have access to market. It's kind of been democratized by the accessibility to market at almost any level.
Kimotho, now back to you. We have your sound. Still on what you're telling us, your whole journey. You're telling us that for you, it wasn't about being born from corporate girl. Yes, continue.
So as an entrepreneur, personally, I was not born one. I always saw myself working in a big corporate, earning good money, driving a nice car, living in good neighborhoods and all that comes with a corporate girl. But then necessity forced me out because I was just looking for something I could do and allow me to have a family, especially a child. So that is what entrepreneurship for me was more of sustenance thing. It was more of looking for another means of earning a living away from a corporate job, and that's how I got out of employment and started something very small. I started with very, very small businesses. And before many months, we started a car import business, Urban Drive. That was about 3 months out of employment. Very, very small, pure bootstrapping and all that. And entrepreneurship, like you have said, I think the figures are more because however much we are saying women are empowered, we are so far, especially in Africa. So you find women don't do businesses for many things. They only do it to have their families feed, to have their kids go to school, and to take care of many other aspects of life. But also, they're also stuck in that smallness and not able to scale up.
Right. So, and so you mentioned a very interesting point of the need of it. Because now here, there are two things. It's either you're really passionate about, you know, being a business owner, or you actually just need to. Whichever job you're doing, it probably stopped, or you realize that I've been in this company for 10 years. This is not, you know, what I do, and I have to do this business out of, you know, necessity. For you, first of all, how was that particular shift from corporate? Because again, there's a certain each and every single month, I have this, amount of money in my account. But then on the other side, you really have to, hustle and actually look for this money. How is this particular shift?
I can't say it was easy, but I must say also that it's more, the big issue is the mental preparedness. It's actually not even the money, according to me. For me, it was a big move from wearing heels and suits, and then one day I have to be in sneakers, jeans, t-shirt. Nobody cares how educated you are. Actually, you just pack your certificates and keep them somewhere. And it wasn't that hard, but I must say also I was not very prepared. If I was to do it again, I would go for business coaching. I would first learn what it is like to do business. Even despite going to business school myself, it was still very different. The academia and the connection to now the real business world is totally, totally different. Nobody can teach you business, by the way. You just have to do it. You learn as you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Vicky, when young girls out here, young ladies out here, they look at, first of all, the both of you, and as entrepreneurs, there's a certain image they see, well, it looks easy, but then they don't really understand that whole, the kind of hard work.
Yeah.
We have about, I think 2 minutes before we take a short break and continue this conversation. So in these 2 minutes, unpack to us, when you talk to some of these young ladies, as she says, that mental change when you realize, kumbe, it's this hard.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Actually, I had a forum this morning exactly about that.
Okay.
And I think the personal resilience plays a big role.
Okay.
Because business is never linear. It doesn't go straight. It goes like this, then it goes like this, then it goes backwards. And no one, I remember someone telling me, I know where business people go wrong. You don't, you really don't, because we know where we are going, and sometimes where we are going, we haven't seen that there's a mountain before it. So when we see the mountain, we're like, okay, hang on, we have a mountain. Now, what do we do with this mountain?
Right.
And maybe that will cost us another year back or something. So I tell women the amount of resilience you have to build for yourself is really essential.
All right. So some definitely interesting insights coming from both of you. Thank you very much so far. Ladies, as well as even gentlemen, tell us the kind of challenges that you experience. Now, for ladies, what kind of challenges as a business person do you experience and have you experienced so far? What kind of tricks have you learned so far as well? Talk to us on our social media platforms. On WhatsApp, 0793-267-279. Also call us live even as we come back. We'll be coming back with Matters Sports and then continue with this conversation. Don't go too far.